In this video, I'm going to be going through my entire Living Dex collection, starting with the larger black folder. I started this project many years back, which is why a lot of the first two generations, you'll see a lot of older cards in the collection. I have replaced a few of them over time, and will continue to replace a few of them here and there with arts that I really like from newer sets that come out. Basically, every time a new set comes out, I look at the cards and say, I like the art on these ones, I put them aside, then I come to this binder and find the matching Pokemon and decide which art I like better. Nostalgia holds a large place in my heart though, so a lot of the cards are keeping their original. So we've got our base set choices for Bulbasaur, Ivysaur, Charmander, Charmeleon, Squirtle and Wartortle. With Erika's Venusaur, Charizard from Dragon Majesty, and a Blastoise from, I think it was Unified Minds. Possibly my favourite Ekans art that they've ever done. One of the few e-reader cards. I stopped collecting around the Neo Discovery era for a number of years. So cards from this era were far and few between. The occasional booster pack I bought as a one-off, maybe once or twice a year. That is an original birthday Pikachu from when I was a child. You'll notice all of these are regular cards. This whole binder and this whole collection is regular cards only. I have a separate collection where I'm using large cards. Now, this Giovanni's Persian is particularly special to me. My Uncle Chris, my dad's brother, used to send us Pokemon cards from the US before they were released. So we actually got this Gym Challenge set Jim Harrow's Gym Challenge cards way before they came out in Australia as a Christmas present, and all these years later I still have it, so thanks Uncle Chris. So yeah, again, for a lot of these particular early first two generations, I think I had most of the first two generations already done prior to the release of Gen 9. Well, prior to that, actually. I think some of it had been sitting there for about since 2018, I want to say. So I did briefly get back into collecting Pokemon around 2018. When I had an adult job with adult money again. So I got quite a few of the Gen 7 cards. You'll see quite a few of these throughout the decks. And then I sort of fell into a lull again at about late 2019, early 2020, when I started saving up for a house deposit. So this is a Legendary Collection Reverse Holo Zapdos. There was one of the random stray packs I picked up at a convention some years back, and I genuinely thought it might be fake at the time, because I'd been out of collecting for a little while. This is also my original Ancient Mew card from when I went to see the movie as a kid. So towards the end of Gen 2 here, we will see probably the most expensive card I have in this entire collection. Again, it was a random stray from a pack I picked up. Oh, and we'll also mention the OG Moonbryon that's in here. This is the Holofoil OG Moonbryon. A friend of mine in early high school, I think it was 7th grade, had a number of Pokemon cards in his pocket. And he had some of his favourites in his pocket. It was sort of the last time era where we were really collecting as kids. And he unfortunately had those shorts go through the wash. And he was so devastated at the destruction of all of his favourite cards that he was going to throw them away. And I said, well, I'll have them, damaged or not, they're still cool. And so he just gave them all to me for free. So that is my very beat up OG Moonbryon, although I do have my OG Holo first edition Espeon in here as well, which is probably another decent quality card. It's got a couple of creases on it though, so it's not going to be in the best condition. And as I said, I do update the cards in here. So if there is a card whose art I do like from a later gen, we do see a couple of Gen 9 silver borders in here where I've thought, actually, I like this artwork better than the card I had previously. There were possibly a few gaps to fill as well. So, my most valuable card in this binder is my Crystal type Lugia. It is the genuine article. There are a couple of teeny tiny little creases on it. You can see just up the top here to make it not really a gradable card. It is a little bit damaged. But again, it came from a pack. I got a I think it was 3 for $10 deal at a convention of some old sets that they just wanted to get rid of booster packs from. And at the time I went, oh, yay, a Lugia Holo, and shoved it in a binder. And never thought about it for years and years, until one day I was watching a video of the most expensive chase cards. I went, wait a second, I have that Lugia. So we're into Gen 3 now. I might speed up a little bit. These gens have a little bit less nostalgia for me than the original ones did. A lot of these collections I put together more from cards a bit later on, so you won't see too many of the original cards in there. Now there are a couple of Pokemon that I am trying to collect master set for. Trapinch, Vibrava and Flygon is one such group of Pokemon that I am trying to master set in a different binder. So sometimes those ones will not necessarily represent my absolute favourite of the card, because my absolute favourite is the one-off I've gotten for our master set. You'll also notice that I've only got original forms in here. I don't have any regional variants or any alternative forms in this Pokedex that you can see here. And there is a reason for that, and there is a reason why this collection absolutely spans 2 binders, and always will. And that's because I am actually doing a full set of all of the alternative forms at the end of the collection. Where I can, I'm trying to include in here cards where if there's, for example, 2 variants, I'm trying to find cards with both variants on the one card for this collection and have individual cards showing the different variants later on. So I believe the last card that I actually added to this binder, to the original, so what should have been the last card adding to this original collection was the Budyu. The Chingling and the Budyu were the final 2, and it was the release of the Phantasmal Flames and the... no, not Phantasmal Flames. The Destined Rivals and the Prismatic Evolutions gave me those final 2 cards in the more modern setting. Only to discover, as I was putting in those last couple of... that last card, which I think was the Chingling from Destined Rivals, I discovered that I was actually missing an Iron Valiant. So I had to go to a local trade night and say, does anyone have a regular Iron Valiant card for trade? And I found a kid who was very happy to trade one of my EX cards for their regular Iron Valiant. So I've opted for the Summer Dealing and Sawsbuck in this original binder. I think the Summer is my favourite design for those ones. And again, you can see we've got Frillish and Jellicent with both forms available on the card. I only got a few packs of Black Bolt and White Flare, so I haven't really gone through and updated a lot of the Gen 5 Pokemon. I think, for example, there's a Mandibuzz card that I'm keen to swap out. I have it around somewhere. I'm not sure where. Dinos, Vilas, and Hydreigon are another set of Pokemon I am trying to master set. Zweilous is very close. I think I only need 1 or 2 more Zweilous cards, and they're reverse holos. The Dino, I think I'm down to the reverse holo, the original reverse holo, and the first place League promo crosshatch card. I have the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th place. Extensive collection of legendaries. Yeah, and we're moving into Gen 6 now. Unfortunately, I don't have a full Vivillon set, as there are very few alternative forms of Vivillon available. Similar with Flabebe, Floette, and Florges, they've only really given us the red flower form on cards. Into Gen 7. I actually quite like all of the Gen 7 starters. I think I might be a bit unique in that it's one of the few generations where all 3 of the starters to me were at least somewhat appealing, with Popplio probably being my least favourite of the 3. Minior is another one which should have multiple forms, but we really don't get to see any of the other colours on cards yet. I don't know if there's a directive for certain cards to be certain forms of Pokemon over others, or certain genders. Gender difference is another really interesting one. At the end of this, I might just flip back to Gen 1 because there's a very interesting gender difference that's worth highlighting. As we move into Gen 8, I've been considering trying to master set Applin, Flapple, Appleton, Dipplin, and Hydrapple. I've sort of loosely started collecting cards in that era, but I think there's quite a few promos already that are a bit hard to make to get that one. So into the final generation of 9 here. And unfortunately, this is where this binder runs out, is partway through Gen 9. I haven't got my hands on a bigger binder yet, and even the bigger binders I don't think will support my extended connection. So we are stopping on Wiglet. Before I swap to the other binder, I'll just quickly highlight, back in Generation 1, a great example, here we are, of the gender differences. So if anyone's familiar with Doduo and Dodrio, basically the gender of Doduo and Dodrio is identifiable from the colour of their neck, with one gender having a black neck and the other gender having a brown neck, and that colour stays the same in their evolution. But despite that, every single Doduo card ever printed has a black neck, and every single Dodrio card printed has a brown neck. So apparently Dodrio swaps gender while evolving, and every single TCG card I believe ever created, barring maybe one recent shiny. Anyway, moving on to the second binder of this collection. We pick back off with Wugtrio. And we can see we're already into the tail end of Gen 9 here. For reference, I am counting Iron Jugulus as part of my Dino Zweilous Hydreigon master set as well, so I'm also trying to get all of the Iron Jugulus cards. So, here's Petrarunt, the tail end of the current system. So, work in progress right now is every Mega Evolution. So you can see I still have a couple of Mega Evolutions from older sets, from back right when I got back into collecting. I think Evolutions was in the caught the tail end of Evolutions when I got back into collecting in 2018, I want to say. There were still Evolutions products available on the shelf. So this will be, hopefully, every single Mega Evolution eventually in this set. You can see a little sparse here. And I was lucky enough to pull the gold Lucario I think I only got an ETB, one ETB and a booster bundle for Mega Evolutions, and I was lucky enough to pull the gold Lucario for that, so that was nice. And then we're going to flip. Got a few spare pages for all the extra Mega Evolutions they're definitely going to release. And then we're into the Alolan forms. And we have the Galarian forms. I love the 3 Galarian bird designs, especially the Moltres. They're so cool. Hisuian forms. And a couple of Paldean forms here as well. And then, as I said, I'm starting to collect alternative forms of cards. So Dealing and Sawsbuck, I've got a spare summer here, a spare autumn there. I've got plenty more to try and pick up along here. There are versions released of, I think, most, if not all, of the seasons for that. So that's one I should be able to finish. We do have the male Meowstic here. The female Meowstic was back in the Pokedex binder. We've got the female Oinkologne. We've got the chest form Gimmighoul. We have the green Squawkabilly. I don't know that there's another colour of that available yet. Similar with the Minior. I think there's only the red Minior. I believe we only have the curly form Tatsugiri available so far. And this is a red stripe Basculin. I think the blue stripe is very hard and very far and few between. There might be one card with blue stripe Basculin, and then the white stripe Basculin is obviously the Hisuian form that was in the Hisui collection. We do have the 3 Paldean Tauruses though. We have the 10%, 50% and 100% forms of Zygarde. I'm not sure if there is a new Zygarde Mega card in a regular form. I think that might be EX only. We do have our Deoxys regular, defense and speed. Normal defense and speed. I just need the attack form. Shaman and Skyman. We've got Hooper. And it's bound and unbound. I do have the Rapid Strike in the collection earlier. I would just need to grab another one for here. We do have Marshadow in its 2 forms. Got a Blood Moon Ursaluna, 2 Ice Cues, the Palafin in its regular and hero form. Some of my older cards I did actually manage to find the cast forms here. We have the full Rotom set, the full Wormadam set, the full Lycanroc set. And here's my unknown alphabet. So every single letter of the unknown alphabet, I do need to update this unknown H at some point, because this is not quite right. All of the others, you'll see, have the letter here. This is the one where I'm being a little bit of a cheat and saying it's close enough because it's featuring the H and it's got the ability with the H. So at some point I will update that one. And then we have our Oricorio forms and our teal and our different Ogerpon forms with the different masks. So that is my National Dex collection.